a deposit notification from the Social Security Administration. But something is different this time. The amount is higher than you expected. Much higher. Your pulse quickens as you blink away sleep, wondering if your eyes are deceiving you. Across America, millions of seniors are waking up to the same shocking discovery this morning. This is a moment that financial experts and retirement analysts have been anticipating for months, and it is finally here. The Social Security Administration has implemented changes that affect every single recipient in ways that most people do not fully understand yet. Right now, as you are watching this, electronic deposits are hitting bank accounts from coast to coast, and the numbers are telling a story that mainstream media is not covering with the depth and clarity it deserves. Whether you have been receiving Social Security benefits for decades or you are new to the system, what happens in the next few hours could have profound implications for your financial well-being throughout the entire year. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that the money you have been counting on, the money you have earned through decades of hard work and payroll contributions, has arrived with adjustments you never saw coming. For some of you, that has already happened. For others, the deposit is processing right now, moving through the intricate web of federal banking systems, preparing to land in your account at any moment. The question is not whether the money is coming. It is whether you understand what you are receiving, why you are receiving it, and what you need to do to ensure you're getting every single dollar you are entitled to under the law. The Social Security Administration has been working around the clock to process these payments, and their systems are operating at maximum capacity to ensure that every eligible recipient receives their funds according to the carefully calculated schedule that governs this massive federal program. But here is what most people do not realize, and this is absolutely critical: the timing of your payment. The amount you receive, and even whether you receive certain supplemental benefits depends on factors that many recipients have never fully understood. These are not arbitrary decisions made by faceless bureaucrats. These are systematic distributions based on your earnings history, your birth date, your filing strategy, and a complex formula that takes into account inflation adjustments, cost of living increases, and modifications to the federal benefit structure that have been evolving over the past several years. Let me take you inside the reality of what is happening right now, because the stakes have never been higher for America's seniors. The economy has been unpredictable. Inflation has been eroding purchasing power, and millions of retirees are finding themselves caught between rising costs and fixed incomes that do not seem to stretch as far as they used to. Medical expenses are climbing. Prescription drug costs are soaring. Housing costs, whether you are renting or dealing with property taxes and home maintenance, have become increasingly burdensome. Grocery bills that used to be manageable are now causing genuine anxiety every time you walk into the supermarket. And through all of this financial turbulence, Social Security has remained the bedrock, the foundation, the one reliable source of income that millions of Americans depend on, not just for comfort, but for survival. The government understands this reality, and that is why the adjustments being implemented in 2026 represent more than just routine annual modifications. These changes reflect a recognition that seniors are facing unprecedented financial pressures, and the system is responding with increases and enhancements designed to provide meaningful relief. But, and this is crucial, not everyone will see the same benefits. Not everyone qualifies for the maximum amounts. Not everyone understands how to verify their payment status or what to do if there's a discrepancy. Now, here is where things start to get interesting, and honestly, a little bit unsettling if you're not paying close attention. Because while many people are celebrating higher deposits, others are confused, some are worried, and a few are completely unaware that important changes are unfolding quietly in the background. This is not just about a bigger number showing up in your bank account. This is about understanding the system behind that number and knowing how to protect yourself in a time when misinformation spreads faster than facts. The Social Security system has always been complicated, but in recent years it has become even more layered. Adjustments are no longer just simple cost of living increases, announced once a year and forgotten. Now, changes can come from multiple directions at once. Inflation metrics, legislative updates, recalculations of benefits, and even corrections to past payment errors can all influence what you see deposited into your account. For some recipients, the increase you are seeing today is not just for this month. It includes retroactive adjustments, corrections that quietly accumulated over time and are now being paid out in a single deposit. Imagine that for a moment. Money that technically belonged to you months ago, even years ago, finally catching up to you now. This is one of the reasons some deposits look shockingly high. And while that might feel like a blessing, it also raises important questions. How do you know if this increase is accurate? How do you confirm it is not a temporary adjustment? And what happens next month? This is where many seniors make a critical mistake. They assume that because the deposit came from the Social Security Administration, everything must automatically be correct. In most cases, the system works as intended, but errors do happen. Sometimes in your favor, sometimes not. And the only way to know the difference is to understand how your benefit is calculated and how recent changes apply specifically to you. Let us slow things down and walk through this calmly, step by step. Your Social Security benefit is based primarily on your lifetime earnings record. The government looks at your highest earning years, adjusts those earnings for inflation, and applies a formula to determine your primary insurance amount. That number then becomes the foundation for everything else. From there, additional factors come into play. When you claim benefits, whether you delayed retirement, whether you receive spousal or survivor benefits, whether you are still working, whether Medicare premiums are being deducted, all of these pieces interact in ways that are not always obvious. Now add to that the 2026 adjustments. These are not random. They are the result of economic data collected over time. Inflation has been persistent. Costs have risen in ways that previous formulas did not fully anticipate. As a result, the government has implemented increases designed to better align benefits with real-world expenses. But alignment does not mean uniformity. Two people living next door to each other, both retired, both receiving Social Security, can see very different deposit amounts even if the percentage increase is technically the same. And here's another layer most people do not think about. Timing. Payments are not sent out all at once. They are distributed according to a schedule based largely on your birth date. That means some people are seeing these changes earlier than others. If your neighbor tells you they got their deposit and you did not, it does not necessarily mean something is wrong. It might simply mean your payment date is later in the cycle. This small detail causes enormous anxiety every month, and yet it is one of the simplest explanations. Still, anxiety is understandable, because for millions of seniors, this deposit is not just income. It is security. It is groceries. It is medication. It is the ability to keep the lights on and the heat running. When something changes, even for the better, it can feel destabilizing. And that is why understanding what is happening right now is so important. Let us talk about the emotional side for a moment. Many retirees spent decades working, contributing, playing by the rules. Social Security was always presented as a promise. Not wealth, but stability. Not luxury, but dignity. In recent years, that promise has felt strained. Headlines about trust fund depletion, political debates, and budget pressures have created fear and uncertainty. Against that backdrop, waking up to a higher deposit feels almost unreal. Like maybe it is too good to be true. That feeling is exactly why scammers are paying attention. Whenever there is a major change in Social Security payments, fraudulent activity spikes. Phone calls, emails, text messages claiming to be from the SSA, messages telling you that you need to verify your increase, confirm your bank information, or avoid suspension of benefits. Let me be very clear. The Social Security Administration will not call you demanding personal information. They will not threaten you. They will not ask for your banking details over the phone or by text. Any communication like that is a red flag. Protecting your increased benefit is just as important as receiving it. That means logging into your official Social Security account directly, not through links sent to you. It means reviewing your benefit statement carefully. It means asking questions when something does not make sense. And yes, it means sometimes waiting on hold longer than you would like to speak to a real person. But that effort can save you from losing thousands of dollars. Now, let us look ahead and think about what all of this could mean for the rest of the year. For many Social Security recipients, the increase showing up right now will likely become the new baseline. In practical terms, That means higher monthly income going forward, not just a one-time change. Over the course of the year, even a modest increase can add up to a meaningful difference, helping to offset rising costs and making monthly expenses easier to manage. However, this will not be the case for everyone. For some recipients, particularly those who are receiving retroactive adjustments or corrections for past underpayments, the current deposit may be higher than what they will see in future months. Once those back payments are complete, the monthly amount may return to a more typical level. This distinction is important because it affects how you should plan and spend right now. That is why careful budgeting during this period is so critical. When a larger-than-expected deposit arrives, it can feel like extra money, almost like a bonus. The temptation to spend it quickly is understandable. But until you're confirmed whether the increase is permanent, caution is your best strategy. Taking time to review your benefit information and understand what is truly changing can help you avoid financial strain later. By approaching this moment thoughtfully, you give yourself the flexibility to adapt once the picture becomes clearer. Whether the increase continues or adjusts next month, being prepared allows you to stay in control rather than reacting to surprises. When you see a higher deposit than expected, it can be tempting to immediately treat it as extra money, but a careful approach can make a meaningful difference. Consider setting aside the difference temporarily rather than spending it right away. This gives you time to review your benefit details, check your official Social Security statement, and confirm whether the increase is permanent or the result of a one-time adjustment or retroactive payment. Taking a pause allows you to make decisions based on clarity instead of assumptions. Once you are confident that the higher amount will continue going forward, you can adjust your budget with greater confidence. For some, that may mean finally taking care of a home repair that has been postponed for months or even years. For others, it could simply mean feeling less stress when paying utility bills or shopping for groceries. Sometimes the most valuable outcome is not a major purchase, but the quiet relief of knowing that your monthly income is more stable. Peace of mind has real value, and it is often overlooked. This is exactly why staying informed is no longer optional. It is essential. The more you understand how your benefits are calculated, what deductions apply, and how changes affect your specific situation, the more control and confidence you'll have over your finances. Awareness reduces stress, prevents costly mistakes, and helps you respond quickly if something does not look right. If there is one message to take away from this moment, it is this: do not ignore your Social Security deposit. Whether increased, stayed the same, or looks different from what you expected, it deserves your attention. This is not free money or a bonus. It is income you earned over a lifetime of work and contributions. You have every right to know exactly what you are receiving and why. As the day begins across the country and more seniors check their accounts, conversations naturally start to happen. Phone calls to children, messages to friends, questions and comparisons. That is completely normal. But it is important to remember that no two situations are exactly alike. Different work histories, filing decisions, deductions, and benefit types all lead to different outcomes. What truly matters is not the amount someone else received or what you hear from friends, family, or online comments. Social Security benefits are calculated individually based on each person's work history, earnings record, age, and specific eligibility factors. Because of this, two people can receive very different amounts even if they seem to be in similar situations. Your benefit amount, your personal financial needs, and your understanding of how the system applies to your case are far more important than outside comparisons. When you focus on your own details, such as your payment schedule, any adjustments, and how long those benefits are expected to last, you gain clearer control over your financial planning. Taking the time to understand these details can bring real peace of mind. Instead of feeling confused or worried by what others are receiving, you can move forward with confidence, know what to expect, and how to plan your budget for the months ahead. This understanding helps turn uncertainty into stability and confidence. This moment is not just about numbers on a screen. It is about reassurance in uncertain times. It is about adapting to change. And it is about staying one step ahead in a system that affects your life in very real ways. So take a deep breath. Look at your account carefully. Ask questions. Stay alert. And know that what is happening right now is part of a larger story, one that is still unfolding. The deposits landing today are just the beginning of a new chapter, and understanding that chapter can make all the difference in the months ahead. This content is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as financial, legal, or professional advice. Social Security rules, benefit amounts, and eligibility requirements can vary based on individual circumstances and may change over time. Viewers are encouraged to verify their specific benefit details directly with the Social Security Administration or consult a qualified financial or legal professional before making any decisions based on this information. The creator of this content is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency. It is also important to step back and look at the broader picture. These payment changes are not happening in isolation. They signal a shift in how the government is responding to the growing economic pressure faced by seniors. Rising costs, especially for healthcare, housing, and everyday necessities, have made it increasingly difficult for fixed incomes to keep up. The adjustment suggests an acknowledgement, at least to some degree, that benefit programs must be more responsive in a volatile and unpredictable economy. This change does not fix every problem that seniors are dealing with, and it does not remove all worries about what the future may bring. Many challenges still remain, including rising living costs, healthcare expenses, and long-term financial uncertainty. However, this shift should still be seen as a positive step forward. It represents progress in a system that often feels slow, complicated, and resistant to change. For many retirees, it can feel like nothing ever moves or improves. That is why any sign of movement matters. Even small or gradual changes can make a real difference in daily life, helping seniors manage expenses a little more easily. More importantly, these incremental improvements send a message. They show that retirees' concerns are being noticed and acknowledged, not completely overlooked. While the changes may not be perfect or permanent, they provide meaningful relief and offer reassurance that the system is responding, even if slowly. Still, challenges remain, and it is important to understand them clearly rather than glossing over them. One of the most significant factors affecting what you actually receive each month is Medicare premiums. Many people focus on the headline number of their Social Security benefit, but the amount that truly matters is the net deposit that reaches their bank account. For millions of seniors, Medicare Part B and sometimes Part D premiums are automatically deducted from their Social Security payments. As healthcare costs continue to rise, these deductions can quietly increase as well. This means that even when your gross Social Security benefit goes up, the increase you feel in your day-to-day life may be smaller than expected. Another major concern is the taxation of Social Security income, something that still catches many retirees off guard. Depending on your total income, including pensions, retirement account withdrawals, investments, or part-time work, a portion of your Social Security benefits may be subject to federal income tax. For some people, this reduces the real value of their monthly deposits and creates an unpleasant surprise during tax season. Understanding how your Social Security income fits into your overall financial picture is essential, especially in a year when benefit amounts are changing. This point is about being careful with expectations for the future. The increase people are seeing right now in their payments is real and helpful, especially at a time when everyday costs are high. However, it is important to understand that this increase does not mean the same level of growth will continue every year. Social Security adjustments depend on many factors, such as inflation rates, overall economic conditions, and government policy decisions. If inflation slows down, future increases may be smaller. If the economy changes or policies are updated, payment adjustments can also change. These increases are calculated using official data and formulas, not guaranteed promises. Because of this, it is smart to view today's higher payment as extra support, not permanent extra income you can fully depend on for long-term financial plans. It can help with current expenses, but people should still budget carefully and avoid making big financial commitments based only on the assumption that payments will keep rising at the same pace in the future.